If you're a true Liverpool fan, subscribe to Anfield Signal. Mohamed Salah has three options if he quits Liverpool with clear obvious choice. Mohamed Salah could leave Liverpool this summer and he won't be short of takers, despite the drop-off in form he has experienced since last season. Liverpool's agreement to tie Mohamed Salah to a 2-year contract extension last year looked like a masterstroke. After months of uncertainty over whether the Egyptian would remain at Anfield beyond last summer, it seemed as though the perfect deal had been reached. The sticking point in negotiations for most of last season was the length of the deal. Salah wanted 3 years, but Liverpool is generally reluctant to hand lengthy contracts to players in their 30s. Salah, who was branded a big baby for his behaviour on Sunday, had every right to think that he should be viewed as a special case during a season in which he scored 34 goals and registered 23 assists, and Liverpool fans around the world breathed a collective sigh of relief when it was confirmed in April that the legendary forward would not be leaving as a free agent. Fast forward 10 months though, and it's clear that Liverpool is not getting value for money out of Salah with regards to the value of his contract. Salah is Liverpool's highest paid player, earning over $500,000 each week, and has scored just 4 Premier League goals all season, the last of which came nearly 4 months ago. So, despite the 33-year-old being contracted to Liverpool until next summer, there is a distinct possibility that his Reds career will end this summer. Saudi Arabia expectation. The strongest interest in Salah is expected to come from the Saudi Pro League, which failed with an attempt to sign the former Roma star in 2023. Liverpool turned down a bid of around $200 million from Al Ittihad for Salah 3 years ago, but he has continued to be linked with a move to Saudi Arabia. Salah remains the biggest name player in the Arab world and would be able to command a monstrous contract in Saudi Arabia despite his drop-off in form. Return to Italy? A move to Saudi Arabia feels like the most likely option for Salah in the summer, but whether he moves there will depend on whether Salah still has ambitions to compete at the top level in European soccer. If he does, then a move to a league Serie A could appeal, but wages would almost certainly be a major stumbling block, as he will not be paid anything like the wage he is currently on at Liverpool. Salah enjoyed a great spell at Roma before joining Liverpool, and the Giallorossi is in a strong position to qualify for next season's Champions League. But, according to Capology, only one player on Roma's wage bill earns more than $150,000 per week. MLS move. Major League Soccer has incentivized big-name players to move to the United States with unique contracts over the last couple of decades, with David Beckham and Lionel Messi the most notable examples of players who attempted to join clubs in MLS. Beckham's move to LA Galaxy in 2007 came with the option for him to purchase an expansion team at some point down the line, and 11 years later, he co-founded Inter Miami. Messi, meanwhile, among other perks, was tempted to Inter Miami with an equity option and also takes a cut of Apple's revenue every time somebody signs up for an MLS season pass. Could a similar bespoke deal convince Salah to consider a move stateside?
Liverpool is about to get a golden opportunity Arne Slot simply can't pass up. Liverpool has a defining period approaching, with Arne Slot's side set to face a run of very winnable fixtures at the same time that Chelsea has a series of tough games. Defining exactly what would represent success for Liverpool from this point in the season is tricky. While the Premier League title has long gone, the FA Cup and the Champions League are still there for the taking, as hard as it might be to make the case for Liverpool going all the way in either tournament, the way it is currently playing. Meanwhile, finishing inside the top 5 spots is a must. Would qualifying for the top-tier European competition be enough? Moving forward, regardless of silverware, Arne Slot's team must also use the rest of the season to inject some more positivity ahead of the next one, teeing itself up to start again in August, with 2 or 3 additions, in a better place. And as part of that, ensuring that it is in the Champions League, and not the Europa League, is of the utmost importance for multiple reasons, partly financial, and partly because of the prestige. If Liverpool is to qualify for UEFA's top competition, the next handful of fixtures are likely to be defining. And, starting with West Ham United at Anfield this weekend, the Reds really need to put together a string of strong performances to make results feel sustainable. After taking on West Ham, Liverpool has Wolves, Tottenham, Brighton, Fulham and then a first trip to Everton's new stadium. Even a team far from in title contention should be winning 5 of those 6. Beyond that point, there are only 5 more league games remaining in the season, including Manchester United, Chelsea and Aston Villa. Quite simply, the Reds have to put the points on the board before then. Chelsea, in contrast to that relatively kind run for Liverpool, has a dire-looking run of games coming up, off the back of disappointing draws against Leeds United and then Burnley. Next weekend, Chelsea goes to Arsenal. It then has Aston Villa and Newcastle United, either side of a tricky-looking Hollywood FA Cup tie with Wrexham. After Newcastle, Chelsea has Everton, Manchester City and then Manchester United, a tricky run for anyone, even before factoring in a Champions League last 16 tie against one of Newcastle or PSG. Though Manchester United, even after a resurgence under Michael Carrick, is far from perfect, its lack of games, only having the Premier League fixtures to compete in, is a massive advantage. Under Unai Emery, meanwhile, Aston Villa is flawed and lacking depth relative to the number of fixtures that it will face, but is likely too far ahead to be caught. If Liverpool is to make the Champions League places by the end of the season, finishing ahead of Chelsea is its most realistic ambition. The next 5 or 6 games are about to determine whether it is possible. Liverpool handed new Champions League last 16 hint after Premier League decision. A Premier League statement has provided strong hints about when Liverpool will play its Champions League round of 16 fixtures in March, though the draw takes place on Friday. Liverpool must wait until Friday to learn the identity of its opponents in the Champions League round of 16. However, supporters already have a fairly clear picture of how to plan their schedules between now and next month's international break, as the Reds brace themselves for what could be a crucial run of 7 matches in just 22 days. The addition of 2 extra fixtures in the Champions League's opening stage, along with the requirement of an extra playoff round to determine the final 16 teams advancing to the knockout stage, has resulted in a considerably tighter schedule between games. Indeed, fewer than 2 weeks will separate this Friday's round of 16 draw and Liverpool's first leg away from home. A Premier League statement released this week, however, has strongly indicated when those fixtures are likely to take place, and that the Reds' scheduled top-flight matches during this period will remain unaffected, reports the Liverpool Echo. The Premier League confirmed that West Ham United v Manchester City on Saturday, March 14 at 12:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time and Arsenal v Everton on Sunday, March 15 at 2 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time are at risk of rescheduling as a consequence of the forthcoming Champions League knockout stage draw. In City's case, this is because UEFA cannot guarantee their first away leg will fall on Tuesday, March 10. The Premier League has introduced a rule stipulating that clubs who play away in the Champions League on a Wednesday cannot be involved in a Saturday early kickoff. The threat to the Arsenal fixture is what directly impacts Liverpool. Much like the Reds, both Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur will host their Champions League round of 16 second leg ties at home, having secured top 8 finishes in the league stage. As is the case with Liverpool and Everton, the North London rivals do not share home match days. With Liverpool's Premier League encounter against Tottenham Hotspur at Anfield on Sunday, March 15 remaining unaffected, it suggests both sides must be contesting their Champions League second legs on the Wednesday. Whilst official confirmation will only come following Friday's draw, all signs point to Liverpool facing its round of 16 away leg on Tuesday, March 10, with the home fixture following on Wednesday, March 18. Having been spared an away second leg, Liverpool's top-flight visit to Brighton will proceed as scheduled at 12:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Saturday, March 21. Liverpool kick off a hectic run of fixtures with a home Premier League clash against West Ham United on Saturday, before a doubleheader against Wolves, first in the league on Tuesday, then back to Molineux for the FA Cup 5th round 3 days later.